This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. Donald Trump has been sworn in as the 47th President of the United States, and there is a lot of things that occurred from start to finish of this ritual that occurred today. Of course, most people out there will think, well, it's just a normal ritual where the President of the United States is sworn into office after the people vote him into power. But that's not what's really occurring here. What's occurring here is a hand-selected man named Donald Trump has been put back into power, not because of the will of the people, because he is the face of this new world order. And I'll show you all of the signs and symbols that were just swirling around Washington, D.C. today. Should I start with how the car that picks up Donald Trump and Joe Biden and brings them to his inauguration, should I start with the symbolism there and the beast? But of course, people out there will look at this and say, well, it's just a name, right? It's just a name. They just call the car the beast that picked up Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Because the country is so divided, seeing these two presidents, former president, future president, present president, is important to the nation. Look, there are people out there who voted for Donald Trump who don't particularly like Donald Trump, but they like his policies. They like what he promised. They like the changes he wanted to make. So he had their support. So going into this day, despite the history, despite what Donald Trump still believes, that he lost that election in 2020, they were able to come together and make this historic ride back in the beast, as that limousine is called, the historic beast.
So they get into the beast, and then they head to the inauguration, which is held indoors this year. And you can see some of his sworn enemies in attendance. You know, people who said that he was a modern-day Hitler, that he's the worst person alive, that anybody who voted for him was voting against human rights and equality, right? But then they show up at his inauguration like Bill Clinton, like Hillary Clinton. Isn't she supposed to be in a jail somewhere if we were going by what Donald Trump told us 8 years ago? Of course, Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama shows up, and of course, Joe Biden himself is there applauding and smiling ear to ear. So let's look at some of the things that were said and shown to us at this inauguration ritual, including Melania Trump wearing that, looking ghoulish in that black and white Masonic outfit that, of course, he's deliberately wearing. Or should we just get to Eric Trump, who openly holds up the triangle of power hand symbol that Donald Trump loves to use so often, and his wife has to tap him on the shoulder to tell him to stop doing that with his hands, because the people like us out there who notice signs and symbols, well, too many people have been catching on to signs and symbols, so Eric better put his hands down. And of course, that brings me to the main theme of this entire event. The golden age of America begins right now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the golden age of America.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. The golden age of America begins right now. The golden age of America begins right now.
And of course, anybody out there who's followed my work over the years, or who has any understanding, even minimalistic understanding of the occult, and Aleister Crowley and Alice Bailey and Madame Blavatsky, knows that that term, the golden age, is reference to the Golden Dawn. And that is exactly what they plan on bringing in, with Donald Trump as the face of it, while he stands on stage and talks about how God saved his life, how divine intervention is the reason that he's here, and he's here to save America. You know, with the likes of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who happened to post and tweet out, the dawn of a new golden age starts on Monday. And even shaking Elon Musk's hand and saying, a new dawn. And of course, what they're referencing is the Golden Dawn. This is Aleister Crowley's Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which is a secret society that all of these people are a part of. It is the complete Golden Dawn system of magic that they follow. In fact, I guess it makes perfect sense to have Donald Trump roll in this system of magic since, well, Marina Abramovich, who is probably known in all circles as one of the highest ranking witches in our society, who is openly performing things like spirit cooking and getting away with it. Well, she's excited, or he's excited, that Donald Trump has been put into power, because Donald Trump, in its own words, saying that Donald Trump is the magician of the highest order, the one who will bring chaos, the one who will bring in this new era of the Golden Dawn.
You know, I just to share with you one really funny opinion. But there is in Lapland, there is a group of the shamans there who do something called collective dreaming. They will go together in seclusion and do the rituals with, eating very little food and being in a solitude for a long time, and they will go and dream the dreams. And the dream have to be collective, same dream. So coming out of this dream, once of the shaman told me that actually the best thing happened in this planet right now is the Trump to be the president. I said, how is this possible? It's the best thing to happen. He said, yes, because he's so irrational, he's so crazy. That's actually create that awakening, that we finally wake up. Because before it will be another guy and everything looks similar. But he's so different than anything else. So he's the magician who waking us up. What do you think about that? Best thing happened ever to us. That he is the best thing happened ever to us. That he is the magician of the highest order. That he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order that the human being can find new order. And it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down.
So, of course, it's no surprise that while Donald Trump is being sworn into office, we got photographs of Dr. Oz hanging around because he's going to be in your new cabinet in the White House. And Dr. Oz, of course, very close with Marina Abramovich. You can see Dr. Oz side by side with the alt-right media that, of course, has hijacked any type of real awakening that was occurring over the last 8 years or so, has been replaced with this alt-right movement, which gives minimalistic truth to anything going on. But of course, they give you things that are just so easy for you to get drawn in, because they talk about things like how there's only a man and a woman, right? Things that are basic common sense, that we're living in a world where they've inverted things so much that people actually need their media to confirm normal things like a man is a man and a woman is a woman. In fact, Donald Trump even decided to bring attention to that during his speech so that that could be trending instead of things like Donald Trump talking about bringing in the golden age. So back to the golden age and the golden dawn and the externalization of the hierarchy by Alice Bailey, which I covered in a separate video. For anybody out there that doesn't know, member of the Golden Dawn, Alice Bailey is the person who founded Lucifer Trust, which is today known as the Lucis Trust, and the direct connection to the United Nations, which is trying to bring about a new world order. They don't even hide that Lucis Trust used to be called the Lucifer Publishing Company. It's even in their Wikipedia page. So that shows you that they're not trying to hide any of this stuff. And in the externalization of the hierarchy, remember this, because this was written in 1957. Thus, a great and new movement is proceeding, and a tremendously increased interplay and interaction is taking place. This will go on until AD 2025. During the years intervening between now and then, very great changes will be seen taking place, and at the Great Assembly of the Hierarchy, held as usual every century. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. The present cycle from now until that date is called technically the stage of the forerunner. It is preparatory in nature, testing in its methods, and intended to be revelatory in its techniques and results. You can see, therefore, that the Chohan's masters, initiates, world disciples, and aspirants affiliated with the hierarchy are all at this time passing through a cycle of great activity. And it'll all be revealed to us in the year 2025, the golden new age. And something else that's important to note, which should seem off to people out there who are paying attention, is that Donald Trump is talking again about Mars, and he's talking about during his inauguration speech, right? Nobody's talking about getting back to the moon because, well, we've obviously never been there, so there's nowhere to go back. But this whole notion of Mars and what they have planned, this deep deception, he decided to bring it up during his speech because I guarantee you they have plans to try and pull something off with the technocracy, transhumanist agenda that is the Mars Project. But here he is talking about planting the stars and stripes on planet Mars. And listen closely, because he used the word manifesting, which of course is associated with the occult and witchcraft. I know a lot of people today like to think words like manifest have something to do with Christianity. Oh, you gotta think it into existence. You gotta manifest it into existence. That is the origins of the occult. That is the origins of witchcraft, manifesting things into existence. So he talks about manifesting this into existence because they're going to have to manifest this into existence because obviously there's zero chance we're actually going to a planet in the sky called Mars, but clearly they have plans to deceive you over on Devon Island once they acquire Canada and, of course, Greenland. But here is the speech from Donald Trump talking about getting to Mars.
Our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
So, of course, you would think in a world in 2025 where nobody's been back to the moon, where we haven't been anywhere, to be honest, everybody out there at this point knows how fake the moon landing is. We're talking about we've moved on from the moon, and now we've just selected Mars. Isn't it interesting how, of all the planets, they chose Mars? Now, they'll tell you it's because they claim that there's water on Mars and that humans can live on Mars because there's a great deception that they have in the works. And you might remember Elon Musk tweeting out a couple of weeks ago that Mars will be called the New World, just as America was in past centuries. Such an inspiring adventure. In a new world, indeed. In fact, Elon even said that one day Mars is going to save Earth. He's certain of it. And most of you might be thinking, well, I don't even know what that possibly means about Mars saving Earth. Well, that's because part of Project Mars is the plan to begin transhumanism out in the open. But let's just start again for anybody out there that doesn't know. Mars is Devon Island, okay? It's uninhabited land that is massive in scope that they plan on faking their Mars landing on. People can't get to this area in the Arctic. It's in the Canadian Arctic, and people won't have a clue. This is where you see a lot of the footage and pictures that they take of the supposed red rock that we're supposed to believe is Mars. And again, Project Mars, okay, is a technical tale. This is a fictional book written by Dr. Wernher von Braun. That name might sound familiar to you because Dr. Wernher von Braun is credited as being the creator of NASA. So the creator of NASA writes fictional books. It kind of reminds me of L. Ron Hubbard, right, who started this religion, Scientology, who happened to be out in the desert with Jack Parsons performing moonchild rituals, right? And the plot of Project Mars, which again is a fictional tale, it follows a fictional story where a global united Earth government, after a devastating war, launches a major mission to Mars based on the discovery of Martian canals by a powerful space telescope, believing evidence of intelligent life existing on the planet. And of course, who is the guy in the book? What's the guy's name? It's, Elon. The Martian government in the book was led by a man named Elon, or the Elon. And what is Elon Musk discussed about Mars and a political system for Mars? Well, he's talked about technocracy, a possible political system for Mars, a planet where technical expertise may be especially important. And Elon Musk has expressed interest in establishing a technocracy on Mars. And of course, this goes back to his grandfather, who is responsible with creating technocracy. And there be no politicians, no business people, money or income inequality. Sounds like a new world order to me. Those were all features of what technocracy called the price system. And there would be no countries called Canada or the US. So does it start to make sense to you that while we find Mars and we start finding life on Mars, and it's led by these experts who are really experts in trying to mix man with machine, because that's what Elon Musk is doing. That's what the Neuralink is. He tells you that it's a Fitbit for your brain. So they're creating a new species, a new race of humans. That's what they're trying to do with technology. So when they tell you that they found Mars and they put some of this footage on the TV, of course, all conservatives will trust them because they're under, complete hypnosis. I mean, it's beyond hypnosis at this point. So they'll believe it. They'll believe that there's life on Mars. They'll believe that they're out in space somewhere, that it took them 5 million days to get there, or whatever lie they decide to spew. Nobody will understand technocracy and how Elon Musk's grandfather was attempting to create this technocracy movement, and how Elon Musk has even tweeted out accelerating Starship technology to build a Martian technocracy, right? Accelerating Starship development to build the Martian technocracy. So in a science fiction book, let's just clarify all this stuff with Mars, why you see Elon Musk side by side with Trump and nobody's even blinking about it, is that Elon Musk, a science fiction book called Project Mars, writes about a futuristic people who would colonize Mars and would be led by someone called the Elon. Now, what is a futuristic people? Well, futuristic people is human beings who are now not fully human beings anymore. Iron mixed with clay. Human beings that have technology inside their bodies. They have technological upgrades. And that's why you've seen Elon Musk tweet things out. If successful, X will evolve to be the collective consciousness of humanity, or more accurately, the human machine collective. And that's what Mars is going to lead to, the Mars deception, the beginning of rolling out transhumanism, a new race of human beings, so to speak. And don't be surprised where that one tweet that Elon Musk talked about, where he talks about how Mars will save Earth. If they continue to burn the Earth and they continue to use directed energy weapons and they continue to hit people with hurricanes, and America, Earth, all around the Earth, I should say, starts to become decimated, well, I'll tell you, this new, humans and machine mixing and merging together, this could be what saves the human race, right? Turning you into an actual battery like in the Matrix. So we are upon the golden dawn. I think the fact that Donald Trump can say that out in the open, the golden age, and of course we have those references to Apollo, why Trump deliberately makes himself gold, like a golden idol, right? People out there think that he's that tone deaf, that he doesn't realize that he looks ridiculous with that glow of bronzer that he wears. He's not doing this by mistake. He's doing it deliberately. He's bringing in the golden age. That's what his role is. And most of these Christians are going to go along for the ride. In fact, they're not even going to realize that they're actually inadvertently worshiping Donald Trump. Most of them don't realize it as it is. And of course, all he has to do is, this is something I've covered over the years. When they give these speeches, they say God, right? He's talking about God in his speech. He's not talking about our Father in the Bible. He's not referencing Jesus Christ. They're talking about their God. But all these people need to hear, whether it's Beyonce or any of these people who are openly Satanists, like Lady Gaga. They go on stage and they say God. And then all of a sudden, they're like, well, they're thanking God. Beyonce's thanking God. They're all thanking God. They're not thanking the same God you're thinking of. And he is talking about his God, Lucifer. Because guess what they're planning on doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is the beginning of bringing in this brand new Luciferian awakening. It's all being orchestrated by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Of course, it's all sides working together. It's the illumination, the Luciferian new age, or as Trump calls it, the golden age. And there are no coincidences in front of us. From Trump being gold to his apartment made of gold, to all of the things that we've read about when it comes to the Golden Dawn and that we've all seen exposed over the years with Aleister Crowley and Alice Bailey and Madame Blavatsky, and how 2025 is the year that they are going to reveal themselves. Trump wasn't hiding it. You go back to the beginning of the whole thing, right? Think about the wording of some of this stuff. The car, yes, I know the car is not newly named the Beast, but I don't recall them openly talking about it too often on television when somebody got into the car saying, oh, he's in the beast, right? But it shows you where we're at as society, that Christians, it wouldn't even trigger a light bulb in their head when it comes to the beast and the mark of the beast and potentially this digital ID and digital currency that is to come, that Donald Trump is in the beast and he's excited to be in the beast as he heads to his inauguration, which is, of course, attended by all of his sworn enemies, all these people who tried to throw him in jail, who said that if you vote for this guy, you're a terrorist. Oh, they're all there. They're all there. Why are they there? Well, they have to be there is what we're told, right? Because, that fits the narrative of 6D chess, that they have to go. And Trump doesn't really like them, but, it's part of it, right? Just like Eric Trump holding up the triangle of power. How many times have we seen Trump himself do that? To literally telling you that he's bringing in this golden age while Vivek and Elon, and they tweet things out like the dawn of a new golden age starts today. A new dawn begins today. It's right in front of us. It's right in front of us, right? The golden dawn, the golden order, the system of magic that they follow, where you have Marina Abramovich just flat out saying he's the magician of the highest order. It's incredible, folks. It's happening in front of us. And of course, it makes perfect sense when we live on Earth, okay? And we have not seen any progress with any of this space stuff. We haven't heard anything about it, other than that they lost the script on how to get to the moon, right? That's the stuff that we hear. Then we see ridiculous footage of like India going to the moon, and it looks like an Atari game. The stuff that they show us is ludicrous that anybody believes it. But most of these people want to believe it. They get pulled into debates about the shape of the Earth and flat, is it round? And nobody just goes, hey, whatever it might be, space, you can't get there. It's been proven. Because they can't get there. And they just keep trying to. And every time they shoot those rockets up, they just veer to the side. And that's the end of the story. Now, of course, they come back and they land, and everyone's excited because they're landing now. So they're just going up for about, 45 minutes? Coming up, reaching the maximum peak that they can get to, heating the atmosphere, of course, which is very important for weather modification, and then coming down and landing. And all these years, nothing has occurred. There's been no progress, right? And now all of a sudden, Donald Trump has Elon Musk with him, and he's talking about how we're going to plant the flag on Mars. At the same time, he's talking about occupying Canada and Greenland. And of course, we all know about Devon Island, and if you don't know, you should know, because they even admit that they train for the Mars landing on Devon Island. So don't you realize that they're just going to fake it there? Then what are we going to see? Well, we're going to just see all of these new human beings start emerging, right? Remember some of the fictional news we've seen over the years about Mars? Has anyone seen this one recently from the Daily Mail? CIA documents claim life did exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people who built pyramids. Oh, is that the same people's DNA that they're trying to mix with people? I mean, are they referencing the Nephilim? What are they? The Nuka? I mean, who are they referencing here, right? Amazing how this stuff's out there. And of course, very large people who built pyramids and who are obsessed with these pyramids, that love these pyramids. Oh, right. Right. It's the Trumps of the world who even hold their hands making that triangle of power, like Eric Trump did. So great deceptions are coming. I think even bigger than Bluebeam. I think they're literally going to try to tell you that they went to Mars. Expect conservatives to take whatever the father of the vax says as truth. And then, of course, to start showing us a different breed of humans and how this could be beneficial to all of us. All it takes is a little propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen the world we're living in now? They've convinced people they're born in the wrong bodies and all that stuff. All it takes is a little propaganda. When they talk about the American experiment, they're talking about massive amounts of mind control. We're under MK Ultra every single day. And if these people hear the lie long enough, they'll believe it as truth. And then they'll start telling you about this new race of humans that are mixed with technology, and they're so far advanced than we are, but we can catch up with them if only we, maybe mix our genetic code with their genetic code, and maybe we could become like this great lost civilization that they so desperately seem to want to bring back. So, if successful, again, ladies and gentlemen, the collective consciousness of humanity, or more accurately, the human machine collective, will move forward in the new golden age of America. Be ready. Things are about to start going down. Already are, actually. Thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.